Hey, it's Liberty, and today I am back with another character guide. This time it is Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. People found my character guide for War and Peace quite helpful, so I thought, why not carry on with another Tolstoy book with a lot of characters with a lot of names. I'm organising them by household, and then I've got a section for kind of general society characters. I'm going to be picking out the sort of main characters, and I'm also potentially dropping some MBTIs for some of them in there as well. I'm going to be talking about these characters as we first meet them, and I'm going to be keeping them as spoiler-free as possible. And all the characters that would give away, the plot are not mentioned at all. If you like this, do give it a thumbs up. I make videos all about books, history, culture, etc. So do check those out and subscribe if you would like to. And if you want to buy me a cup of tea, the link is going to be in the description. So I'm going to start with the Karenins. Anna Karenina is our main character, our title character, protagonist, or to use her full name, Anna Arkadyevna Karenina. Also, apologies if I butcher these Russian pronunciations. I'm not great at pronouncing things, and I will try my very best. Anna is a beautiful woman in her late 20s. She was born into the Oblonsky family. She is Steva's sister. We'll get on to him in a minute. She is married to Alexei Karenin, who is about 20 years or so older than her, and she has a young son. Her son is 8 years old, called Seryosha. She is very intelligent. She is passionate. She is a devoted mother to her son. She's also incredibly captivating. She draws eyes wherever she goes. She's also very loyal and dedicated to those that she loves. She drops everything at the start of the novel when we meet her to come and help her brother. She's also a very authentic person, and it's this aspect of her personality that really sort of drives the plot along. Her MBTI is unsurprisingly ENFJ. This quote gives you some insight into her as a character. Anna spoke not only naturally and intelligently, but intelligently and casually, without attaching any value to her own thoughts, yet giving great value to the thoughts of the one that she was talking to. Anna's husband is Alexei Alexandrovich Karenin. Now, he is a high-ranking minister in the government. He is one of the most important people in St. Petersburg. He's a very tight-laced man. He's all about duty and living by the conventions of society, and like his social mask and appearance of being this, intelligent, capable man is very important to him. He's holding very tight to the reins. Here's a quote: "With his habitual control over his thoughts, though he thought all this about his wife, he did not let his thoughts stray further." As I said, he's about 20 years older than Anna. He's not a great husband or father, but he's not a bad one either. His life is one of social obligations and the preservation of his legacy and his position. He's a main character. He's an ISTJ. As I said, Anna and Alexei have an 8-year-old son, Seryosha, and there's not too much to say about him. Like, he's a very sweet little boy. And obviously they've got various members of their household. Moving on to Anna's family by birth, the Oblonskys. Now, Stefan, or Steva as he's most commonly, basically a lot of these characters, depending on the translation you have, depending on at what point in the novel, they are called by variations of their names. I know some translations are a little bit more consistent than others, so I'm trying to give you all of the different options that you might come across. But I will call him Steva because that is how I remember him. He is also Arkadyevich Oblonsky. And as I said, he's Anna's brother. He's 34 years old. So he's a little bit older than her. Steva loves his family, but he loves his own pleasure even more. He's a minor government official, like he's not on his brother-in-law's level by any means, but so he's got plenty of time to pursue his own pleasure and a history of having it off with various members of the household. He very much takes advantage of his wife's very kind and forgiving nature. And he's basically this big, city posh rich boy, morally quite weak, but also annoyingly really quite lovable. He is an ESFJ. He's quite a heavily recurring character. He's got one of my favourite quotes from the book: "All the variety, all the charm, all the beauty of life is made up of light and shadow." Steva's wife is Dolly, Princess Daria Alexandrovna Oblonskaya. She's 33 years old at the start of the novel, so similar age to her husband. She's another one of the recurring characters. Dolly is kind-hearted and emotional, but also very practical and realistic. She is the long-suffering and sacrificing wife. She keeps the household going and finds money when her husband spends beyond their means. She's had to push out 6 children. She's had to put up with her husband's shenanigans. She knows how to rally for sure, and she's an ISFJ. This quote kind of sums up her approach to life and her marriage. If one loves someone, one loves the whole person, just as they are, and not as one would like them to be. Dolly and Steva have got 6 children: Alyosha, Grisha, Lily, Masha, Nikolenka, and Tanya. They've also got a bunch of staff, French governess, Mademoiselle Roland. There's also another Oblonsky relation buzzing around, Princess Varvara Oblonsky, who is Steva and Anna's aunt. She's very old. She sort of lives off other people, and she's like an expert at sniffing out like rich and generous relatives. I'm going to move on to Dolly's family now, who are the Scherbatskys. Dolly's younger sister is Kitty, Princess Ekaterina Alexandrovna Scherbatskaya. She is one of the main characters. She's 18 years old. She's very beautiful. She's sensitive. She's naive. She's sheltered. And she's not very intellectually inclined, but she's compassionate and brave. She's also apparently modelled on Tolstoy's wife. But don't worry, she gets a lot nicer time than Sonia from War and Peace. Poor Sonia. Her MBTI to me is ISFP. All the people who say that she's an ISFJ do not understand the system, because my girl is an introverted feeling user for sure. I love this insight into her character. It was characteristic of Kitty that she always imagined everything in people in the most favourable light possible, especially so as in those she did not know. And now, as she made surmises as to who people were, what their relations to one another, and what they were like, Kitty endowed them with the most marvellous and noble characters and found confirmation of her idea in her observations. Dolly and Kitty's parents are Prince Alexander Dmitrievich Scherbatsky and Princess Scherbatsky. The prince very much sees through the trappings of society, while his wife is kind of oblivious to that, and they have complete opposite ideas of the kind of person they want Kitty to end up marrying. Dolly and Kitty also have another sister, Princess Natalia Alexandrovna Lvov, or Natalie, who is married to Prince Lvov. They are both very pleasant and lovely people. They have children. They're very happy. They're just sort of existing. Next, we are visiting the Vronskys. They are a rich and well-connected family. Count Alexei Kirillovich Vronsky is a cavalry officer. He's an aide-de-camp. He lives for himself and his passions. He's very attractive and he knows it. Steva calls him one of the finest specimens of the gilded youth of St. Petersburg. He's a society man. He's also kind of a bit of a lone wolf. He's very aloof, a definite commitment phobe, and one of our main characters. The jury is out about his MBTI. People are torn between ESFP and ESTP. I think for me personally, he's an extroverted feeling user, so I fall on the ESTP side of things. Obviously, he's got parents. His parents are Count Kirill Ivanovich Vronsky and Countess Vronskaya. His mother is a woman of society. There's not much to say about her, really. Vronsky also has a brother, Alexander Kirillovich Vronsky, and a sister-in-law, Varvara Vronsky. Now we're on to the Levin household. Now, Konstantin Dmitrievich Levin is one of the 2 main characters. Like, him and Anna are definitely the 2 main characters. He is also Leo Tolstoy's self-insert character. He's 32 years old. He's socially awkward. He's an intellectual, very bookish and philosophical. He's a huge landowner, but he's also very, generous and always thinking about ways that he can improve life for the people who live and work on his land. He's a very sincere man. He acts on his convictions. He's definitely an INFP because, of course, he is. I won't hear any analysis to the contrary. He is 100% an INFP. If you read the book, you know this. A quote I love about him is that he felt himself and he didn't want to be anyone else. All he wanted now was to be better than before. Same, bro. Now, Konstantin Levin he's got a couple of older brothers. The first, Nikolai Dmitrievich Levin, he represents the sort of liberal, free-thinking intellectuals that were being found in Russia at this time. He's also an alcoholic with not a lot of money and resources. His half-brother is about 40 years old and is called Sergei Ivanovich Koznishev. Sergei is a famous intellectual. He writes a lot and is, very famous for that. He represents the side of intellectuals that are more cold and very stoicism coded. For my MBTI people, I feel like he is a physical embodiment of the introverted thinking cognitive function. Now to all the society people. These are all recurring or guest stars. I'm going to start with Countess Lydia Ivanovna. She is part of Karenin's circle, the leader, I should say. She's very, morally superior. She kind of looks down on the other circle I'm going to talk about in a second. She's Russian Orthodox. She's very spiritual. She's very into mysticism. The leader of the other society group is Princess Betsy, or Princess Elizaveta Tverskaya. She is friends with Anna. She is headed up this circle, which is like elite. She's very much like the master spider in the web, but like likable. People like her. The group is quite showy and elitist, but also quite morally flexible. One member of Betsy's circle is Princess Mayakaya, and she is a person who is always honest and speaks sensibly, if not always at the right time. Another character is Prince Scherbatsky, and he is a friend, colleague, and old schoolmate of Vronsky. They were in the same regiment. They, went to school together, and they're kind of parallels of each other, based on the choices that the two of them make throughout the novel. He is very much for Vronsky what could have been a road not taken. Thank you for watching. Those were a bunch of the characters in Anna Karenina that you should be aware of, and some of their names and how they are related to each other. It can get quite complicated sometimes. Thank you for watching. Again, I stopped with these characters because obviously the more you add, the more potentially spoilery it gets. And, it's nice to have like a little base grounding, and then you can meet other characters more authentically. If you like this, do give it a thumbs up. I make videos all about books, history, and culture, so do check those out. Subscribe, like if you would like to. If you have read Anna Karenina and you've stumbled across this, who's your favourite character? And if you haven't, who sounds the most intriguing? I'd like to know. So yeah, that's it from me for today. Happy reading.